I think it's time for a very friendly warning. Hello, everyone. Bront, CatHerder here. We're having fun talking Raid Shadow Legends, and we are here on my main account because we are going to be talking some Faction Wars hard and I guess kind of the future of Raid as well as the past of Raid. So I have a bit of a warning for you here, and we'll certainly get into it, but I've had some problems with Faction Wars hard. I struggled with Ogryn Floor 2, and with my account, I did not expect to be struggling with Ogryn Floors 2, let alone 1. Honestly, 1 was very difficult for me as well, and I encountered a couple different issues. Some of them are just because my roster has not expanded in such a way that I have anything such as a damage dealer in the Ogryn, outside of maybe I could build Grush for damage, Bellower does some okay damage, but I don't have a lot of these significant nukers that I might otherwise have in the Ogryn faction. But there's a champion that actually I noticed that I'm missing that could be very helpful to me, and it's actually a topic I want to talk to you guys about. So this here is Ugir the Worm Eater. He was a previous fusion. I don't remember if he was a fragment or just a regular summon fusion or a champion combination fusion or something like that. I don't remember it is. Regardless, he was a fusion about a year and a half ago, and I skipped him. And I don't feel too bad about skipping him because honestly, I have never felt that I needed to build him under any circumstances, but I was struggling in Faction Wars, and it occurred to me this dude would have been really helpful. Why would he have been really good? Well, his A2 on a 3-turn cooldown has a 100% chance of removing all buffs from all enemies. And Stage 2 and Stage 1 have multiple champions that will cleanse and put up block debuffs, and those stages have debuff requirements. So they need poisons, and then Stage 2 needs stun. Now, I'm also missing out on stuns because I have nobody that's got stuns, but I have a bunch of stun sets, so that's particularly good. Poisons, I'm fine on poisons. I've got Stock the Broken, he's a great champion, and I've got Urogrim, so Urogrim brings a bunch of poisons as well, but without any ability to strip or any reasonable amount of damage, I have found the floors to have been fairly difficult. So he's got the 1A2, he's got some increased accuracy, increased defense, increased attack. This could be particularly useful in general. He's got block buffs, which is not too bad, but I've got that with Ugos, so that's not really a particularly good chance. He does steal a random buff from an ally or an enemy as well, so that's not too bad. He does okay-ish damage. He's not a great damage dealer, but he is an HP-based champion, so you can build him tanky with some damage at the same time. And he'll throw his A2 up when somebody gets revived. And it doesn't place it on cooldown. It's on a 2-turn cooldown itself, but you're not going to get a lot of revives necessarily. But revive on death and some revivers are a thing on this floor, so this passive would have been very useful on floor 2. Why am I talking about a champion I chose to skip as a fusion? Well, I think this is going to be telling for more we get into hard faction wars, is Polarium has been able to tune hard faction wars for various champions that already exist, and in some cases champions you might not think of, like Ugir. Ugir's ability to strip in the Ogryn faction might become critical because yes, you've got a block buffs with Ugo, who's fairly accessible, but block buffs doesn't fix the strip then with the block debuffs. So you might actually need to strip again. So they're somehow stripping off their own debuffs and then putting up block debuffs on. That makes it harder to get more debuffs on if you're counting the debuffs. But honestly, it also makes it harder to kill them because maybe they also have things like continuous heal buffs going up, revive on death. There's so many other buffs that can be very helpful that might be nice to actually get removed every once in a while. And so Ugir will probably prove to be very useful in hard faction wars, and actually is going to have a good rate up in hard faction wars, I think. Is he going to be top tier amazing? No, he might be for a couple of floors and you won't use him again. Maybe not. So maybe you don't need to actually, book him necessarily, but it probably would be helpful if you booked him, if you've got the spear gear. So again, why am I talking about Ugir? Well, we're going to have more fusions where we're going to have skills and champions that are going to look like they're not great, but they might be useful for a couple floors in Faction Wars Hard. Let's take a look at a couple champions that have been fusion champions that we've gotten recently. In fact, I mentioned Stock the Broken here. Stock the Broken, very, very good for the poison floor. He's also very good for the stun floor because he's got 2 AoEs. So I can put him in stun set, and he's got great aura here as well. He's just a great champion, and there was no doubt that he was a great champion that just didn't have a really great spot in the game because poisons have been power crept a little bit, but he's still a very good champion. And yeah, he's going to probably be in every single one of my teams because those poisons bring a lot of damage. I can do a lot of flexible things with him with the dual AoEs, and the speed aura is just super, super helpful. And in a faction where I'm struggling with damage, Stock the Broken is going to be very good. Lazar, another one that some people skipped, some people didn't. I got him on my main. I ended up getting his soul as well, so I have the 5-star soul for him, which is great. And that 5-star soul, suddenly people found a way to use him for solo Sand Devil, but also this AoE freeze, I don't have it booked. I don't have him booked, and he is still a critical champion for trying to control some of the waves. Yes, I absolutely probably need to book him to make him absolutely critical, but he's been super helpful in Centranos as well. And Polarium is finding ways to find content for some of these old fusion champions. Before you watch the video any further, did you know you can use the link down below and start a brand new raid account and get 2 amazing epics? You can get Rector Drath. You'll get her right from the start, right after the tutorial. And once at level 15, you will get yourself an Ugo. Rector Drath is an amazing support reviver. She will heal your team. She will give you perfect veils to protect you. She will throw decrease attack up there. And she has a revive, making it very easy to get through in the early game. And then on top of that, Ugo, you get at level 15 again, is a wonderful support champion. She does decreased defense, she does block buffs, she does healing, she does cleansing. She is an absolute great champion. Very helpful early game, very helpful at end game. They are very good champions in Hydra. They are very good champions all over the game. I use them regularly on every account that I work on. They are great champions and you can get them for free. But not only that, but in the first 72 hours of your account, you can use code Monkey King to get Sun Wukong, or you can use Supreme 6 to get yourself a Supreme Gallic. Both are amazing legendary. Supreme 6 is a void legendary, so go for Gallic, I suspect. But you know what? Either one of them is absolutely amazing. Start a brand new account today. The steps are very easy. Log out of your Polarium Play account on PC or simply uninstall Polarium Play. Create a brand new account using the link. Download from there. Run the install. It'll start up Polarium Play, and boom, there's your new account. If you are on Android or iOS, if you've never played before, you can download using my link and get the same benefits as well. It is an absolutely amazing way to start a brand new account, be it a free-to-play, be it a high-spend account, whatever you want to do. It helps support me, it helps get you into the game, and it's a great way to have some fun. Now let's get back to the video. Lanatharl is actually a great example of a champion that I skipped on my main and did not skip on my alt because his kit was great for the Scarab boss, and I didn't have a Scarab boss counter on my alt at the time. He's got the Destroy Max HP, he's got the Ally Attack, and then he's got the shields here. Ally Attack was considered useful, but was not really known as the god tier ability it is right now because there wasn't a lot of content that required Ally Attack to really get through and seemed more of a luxury than it did a great thing to do. Well, Q Hydra changes, Q Chimera, Q Faction Wars Hard, well, not Faction Wars Hard necessarily, but Q Hard Dungeons, and suddenly the Fire Knight needed an ally attacker, and he was one of the best. Suddenly he got a huge buff because the content matched what he did. And we got the new fusion here that we're working on right now in Ishiyama. I believe that's his name. Where are you? There you go, Ishiyama. Yeah, that's right. So this dude here, is he going to be absolutely meta? Well, you know, damage is really good, and he puts block damage on himself. That's not too bad. Decrease crit rate, decrease crit damage could be very useful against the wave still. The fear definitely could be useful. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a fear floor on the Shadowkin. I haven't had a chance to look yet. But overall, he gives you flexibility in the kit. And maybe his kit isn't going to be great for hard faction wars. That doesn't mean that Polarium won't find a way to make his kit useful down the road. Polarium's actually been fairly good about finding ways to make champions that are not as good as they used to be, or just not good in general, and finding new content to make them better in. Lydia goes up and down, but Lydia continues to be relevant because her kit's just absolutely amazing. There's all kinds of champions that sometimes go up in value, sometimes go down in value because of the way certain things change. Sometimes it's an arena meta, and sometimes it is doing content for PvE, such as your Hydras, your Chimeras, and of course your hard faction war. But the big point I'm going to make about this is, yes, I can tell you to do absolutely every fusion. Don't kill yourself. If you can't do a fusion, you can't do a fusion. It's not going to be the end of your raid account if you choose to not do a fusion. Yes, I'm missing Ugir on this particular account. Yes, he would be absolutely massive for the faction I'm struggling with the most right now, which is Oghren. No, he would not be so account changing that I wish I could go back and have done that, because who knows, maybe the rest that I had during that particular time, I might have been able to get the next fusion who might have been better, that I've used more often. There's other stuff like that too. But that said, there are a lot of people that like to just skip fusions whenever they can. And I think that Plarium continues to show that the best way to round out your roster and get a large, broad, flexible roster is going to be continuing to do fusions, because they generally are releasing champions for content. And if it's not content that they get today, it's often content they get tomorrow. So don't live in the FOMO of I can never miss a fusion. But don't just think that maybe I should just skip this fusions because fusions are hard, fusions are annoying. Fusions are not as hard as I think a lot of people think they are. I'm doing my second fusion on my free-to-play in 4 months. I am on track to get Ishiyama. I have no illusions that I won't get him. I just need to do the Fire Knight tournament and then one other of 3 different events, either Dungeon Divers, or I think there's an arena tournament that shouldn't be a problem, or the Gear Ascension or improvement stuff. And I've got him with the Summon Rush. Nice and easy, and I was able to do it with an account that I'm not even doing Ultra Nightmare as consistency as I'd like to. It's 3 key, maybe 4 key, and I rarely am getting the top chest from Nightmare at the same time. So if I can do it with an account like that, at least every other fusion, you can do it on your account, most likely. You just need to save up some shards occasionally, not pull on every single event, and you need to just plan just a little bit. Now, maybe that's not how you want to play, and you know what? I'm not going to tell you how to have fun playing Raid Shadow Legends. The game is here to have fun. But I'm going to tell you that if you want to continue to tackle better and better content, just skipping fusions is going to continue to be a thorn in your side. I can't tell you how many takeovers I have done where somebody skipped a fusion because they don't like to do fusions and they don't have a newt, or they don't have an Armands. Champions that are so good that can transform accounts, and they skip them because they don't like fusions, not because they couldn't do it. So, don't be that person, because I think you will find that once you start doing fusions, you start getting some of these champions, you will find a use for some of these nice new champions. And if you don't, sometimes it's nice to have these champions in your vault. On this account right here, I regularly have champions in my fragment summon here that I don't use. I've used most of them recently, it looks like, but I've got a Yuzan sitting here waiting for me to pull because I didn't do that fusion for several reasons. And, so I've got a Yuzan ready and available, and I haven't pulled this one yet. I did pull another one, and then I've got some fragments from Maud as well out of that. But usually I have a couple of them ready to go to help make it easier for the summon rushes when I decide I want to do some of these summon rushes. On top of that, I still have a couple of these that I will pull out. Honestly, most of the time I end up using these for CVC points, because 30,000 CVC points is pretty nice. And I tend not to sit on these guys as much as I do sit on, I've got Ginro the Stork here. He's a Doom Tower one. Well, I will never pull him, so he's always going to be maximum points, or he's a Void Legendary. So I'm going to hold on to him until I absolutely need him for the points, and then I'll pull him, and then he'll get vaulted, and I'll never use him again, most likely. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to give you guys a bit of a warning on that. I think that fusions are going to continue to be an important part of the game. The recent fusions have generally been better. The fact that this Ishiyama is considered a skip right now, if he was a fusion that we were doing, 2 years ago, he would have been, yes, get this dude. He hits like a truck on that A3. And he's an HP-based damage dealer, so he's tanky. Nowadays, we're getting better fusions, so yeah, people thought maybe he's a skip, maybe he's not. And again, we'll find out if he's going to be clutch in Faction Wars or not. On my free-to-play, he's still going to be worth getting because I am struggling for damage dealers. I just pulled Cleopteryx, and so she will become another damage dealer. And then this dude will eventually become another damage dealer, helping me with Faction Wars progression, as well as maybe helping me in Arena, giving me some flexibility in picking my champions as well. So then that's really kind of where the roster flexibility becomes the most important thing. It is really, really nice to have multiple options for multiple champions to build, to play with, and to use in content. Because the more you have to build, the more you can try to fit them into different puzzle pieces, because team building is a bit of a puzzle. And if you don't have the pieces, it's kind of hard to complete the puzzle. So that's my warning. Get those fusions done. Get those, fragment summons done as well, however you want to call them. Some people don't like when I say fusions when it's a fragment summon. You know what I'm talking about, and that's the point. You guys have some fun. Hit down below any fusions you skip that you've learned to regret. Do you usually skip the fusions? I'm kind of curious actually with you guys. How many of you guys actually do fusions? How many of you guys don't do fusions? Do you think you're going to start doing fusions now that you see how hard Faction Wars is and how good the stuff you can get from hard Faction Wars is? Let me know. It's been a lot of fun talking with you guys. Much love. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. And until then, I am Bront CatHerder.